Alright, y'all. I remember the new intro this time. For anybody that is new here, none of this is scripted. All these videos are just from conversations I've either previously held with my homies, or just ideas that I just think of off the top of the dome. And then sometimes I'll just record these joints on a whim or just get a couple thoughts in line, but it's no real script or order or direction. Just kind of, you know, make the shit up as I go. Essentially. However, a lot of these are re-recorded. Like I did this video like once or twice and was like, I missed this point. I was thinking, ideas come to me as I talk sometimes. So yeah, real quick before we get into it though, just a couple of just cool things. I might do this in some videos too, I feel like it might be good for engagement, I don't know. But I got this shirt right here, the Street Fighter joint. Let me see. Oh my god, I'm fucking retarded. I can't hold this bitch right. There you go. God damn, get to sleeve. But yeah, it's Ken and Ryu, you know what I'm saying, from Street Fighter. Shirt is by Super Rare. I might, if I put this on Instagram or something, if this part makes the cut, I'll add them. But yeah, fire shirt. And if you a hip-hop head and you know they're supposed to be like this, you know what I'm saying, classic shit. Mob Deep and Infamous, but like the way that they, I don't know if I can get them both in the same frame. But yeah, like the way that they looking is kind of supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, supposed to be the same. So yep, I got that, and I got this. I know we're talking about Marvel today, but little Superman IMAX comic. It's nothing special. It's not like a rare comic, but it might be one day. They was handing these out at the theater when we went. Yeah, got crypto on the back. When I went to see Superman in the theaters, and yeah, me and my little sister got one of them joints. It was like specifically for if you did it, watch it in IMAX. So I told her, I was like, yo, hold on to that. Don't lose it. Because you don't know if in like 20 years or something, it might be worth some bread. Because it was like an exclusive type of thing. So, you know what I'm saying? I think the original Superman comic just sold for like 8 mil or something recently. Like the original 1939 joint. That's crazy. This ain't going to be as rare at all. But, might be some bands in like, a cool 15 years or something like that. But official video starts now. I would have been at a timestamp at the beginning. But the title of this video is what you know what the title of this video is because you clicked on it. But it's that superhero or comic book media or whatever has always been woke. But it's a double conversation. It's that, but as well as a question of, are we ready for the X-Men in the MCU? And by we, I mean the general public as consumers, as well as is Disney and Marvel ready to make a real deal, serious X-Men product. So first, I just want to go over the topic of how comic book media and fiction has always been woke. So I'll break this down into sections. First, let's just talk about what woke even means. To be woke is just to be conscious, bro. It's just to be conscious and aware of your surroundings, of life, of information, seeing things for what they really are, not what they appear to be. That's all that being woke means. It has had multiple different names, just being conscious, aware, enlightened, different things like that. It's had multiple different names. Just term woke came around, at the peak of social media kind of coming over the horizon, where it can get turned to a hashtag. It was happening. That hashtag came when a whole bunch of bullshit and social stuff was going on. So, then it just becomes like kind of like a trigger word for people, So, yeah, it's just a more of a social media thing. But, yeah, so I just want to know, like, by the definition of what it is, of just being conscious and aware of things, my question, and I'm going to ask this multiple times as we go along, is what is wrong with that with comic book media or fiction media being like that? So I first saw this kind of term being used when it came to Falcon in Captain America Brave New World, right? Where there was like, it's Black Captain America, whatever, they're going woke and shit like that. I don't understand where that fits into that. Now, the next time I saw this was when it came to the Silver Surfer being a woman character, being Shia LaBeouf instead of Nora Rad. And they were like, oh, they're getting woke with it now and stuff like that, because they're gender swapping. They're gender swapping characters. And I even saw some people talking about that on X-Men 97 when there was clear parallels of people being, just the different minorities that X-Men kind of encapsulates. And the same thing with Superman. People were mad about the Jaipur and Moravia parallels to Israel and Palestine and shit like that. So what I'm seeing from all that, what I'm gathering of people calling something woke is when things are being changed. You know, essentially that, like, when things are being changed or when things mirror real life. Now, what I would say is, what y'all are calling woke for the most part, or like what they usually call woke, I think is just chalked up to bad writing for the most part. But even some of these, I don't think fits the bill. So I'm gonna go through this with the Captain America thing. I would be on y'all's side if they made Steve Rogers black. If they made Steve Rogers black, then we have an issue. Because there's no reason for you to change that. There's absolutely no reason for you to make Steve Rogers black. It's not a black Steve Rogers. It's a black man who's taking up the mantle of Captain America. But it's not some random nigga. Like, it's not like they had Mordo from Doctor Strange take up the mantle. Falcon, for 10 years at that point, just about 10 years, had been Captain America's, for, yeah, I'm not going to say lack of a better word. It is what it is. It's been his sidekick in all of those movies. Now, I understand the other choice being Bucky, but, you know, I'm going to get into that. But yeah, so it's not like they chose someone random and just said, we got to give a black man something, you know, like it's a charity, you know, just to be more inclusive or whatever. Oh, hold on. Yo, he smacked it. My fault. I got on the 2012 Ninja Turtles joint. This is the best version of Splinter, and you can't convince me otherwise. That nigga was getting active on this show. But anyway, damn, what the fuck was I just saying? Oh yeah, I can see if it was like a charity, where they were just doing something just to be more inclusive, but it wasn't. It never came off as that. It came off so natural because how their connection was, how much he trusted Falcon, how much Falcon trusted him, how much he helped him through. And it was a smooth transition with Captain America getting a good send-off, him going back to spend time with Peggy and everything like that. It made sense. There was nothing forced about it. And also, it's not like they just pulled that detail out their ass. It's a real comic book thing at some point that Falcon gets the shield. Now, of course, Bucky has been Captain America before as well. Or not, yeah, it says taking up the mantle. But I'll say this, you can't please everybody. Because let's say they made Bucky Captain America instead of Falcon. For one, that would kind of leave Falcon in this weird space. You could write it to where him and Bucky develop more of a friendship, and that kind of happens. But then you have people complaining that they never elevated Falcon. Oh, did they hate the black guy? Whatever. They be like, oh, they couldn't give the black man the shield. They had to give it to the white. You know, you can't please everybody. That's what's going to happen. But anyway, to stay on topic, I don't think this falls under what people would call, the way they're trying to use the word woke is changing things that don't need to be changed for the sake of pleasing some people and being inclusive. I don't think that fits the bill. Now, when it came to Silver Surfer being Shallabal, at first I was on y'all's side with it, but not necessarily because they were being inclusive. I think they were just trying to be different. And the only reason why I didn't like it is because Norman Rad is my favorite character, and yeah. But when I went and watched Fantastic Four, I owe them an apology because they did a great job. Obviously, I noticed it's not Norman Rad because it's not Norman Rad. But as I was watching the movie, and by the time I exited the movie, it wasn't a complaint for me, and I wasn't conscious of the fact that I don't have Norman Rad. Like, it was bothering me throughout the movie. I'm just happy they did a Silver Surfer justice. The way they were going faster than light, and she was still catching up with them, still like surfing on the beam and shit, and they could not beat her. Like, they at no point did they beat her. They outmaneuvered her into a black hole, and she still got out and came back and fucked them up. So I'm just happy they did a Silver Surfer justice when it came to that. A lot of y'all owe them an apology as well, because I saw just a whole mob of motherfuckers getting mad about it, calling them woke, they're done, this is going to be trash, or whatever. And then no one ever, you know, the movie was received well, but no one ever apologized for that. I think the difference between that and Brave New World is just Brave New World just wasn't received well as a movie. I haven't seen it yet. For anyone who's new here, I've been on my journey of rewatching the Marvel movies. I'm currently at Endgame. Endgame is the only was my stopping point before, because I remember it came out when I was in school. Someone came to school, told me Iron Man died, and I was like, why would you tell me that? I never watched it, and I ended up getting behind the shit when COVID hit and everything. So I'm behind on the Marvel movies. So I was giving myself a complete refresher, a complete restart. But yeah, all that to say, I haven't seen it, so I don't have my own formed opinion on if that movie is actually good or bad. I'm trying to figure out what else, but yeah, I would say y'all gotta find a different word for this, bro, because I think what y'all are just describing is just bad writing or things that are unnecessary. Like, I wouldn't call this woke at all, because it's not like any message behind it or anything. They just did it. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't do it just to appeal things either. Like, it was just a decision. And it's decisions that are things that have happened in comics. Like, these are not details they're just pulling out their ass, you know? So, there's that. Now, the other one is Superman with the Moravian and John report thing, and it mimicking Palestine and Israel. My thing is, why is that an issue? Because I think these only become issues if they try to spoon feed you the message too much. I didn't even catch that until people said it afterwards. I was just enjoying the world building and enjoying the conflict and enjoying the story. And mainly because I didn't even look at it that way, because I know that comic book media has always been like this. And but actually no, not even that. Is that war is war, my nigga. I put it to you this way: war is war, my nigga. Like, one country having more weapons, resources, or whatever, and then oppressing another country that either has less of it or has some other resources they want but doesn't have the weapons or whatever. That's a story as old as time. What it was happening now, just because it has social media light and everything like that, it's not nothing new. That's a tale as old as time, bro. That's how it's old. That's how the world has always been since we started forming societies and empires and shit. So I didn't even look at it as an Israel and Palestine thing. Maybe James Gunn did. Maybe that's what he drew inspiration from. So I'm not going to act like he didn't know that's what it was doing, or he didn't draw any inspiration from it, or he wasn't conscious that it was going to get some kind of social media. Maybe he was trying to use that. I don't know. But regardless, it was written well. And it was written well enough for me to not even notice that. So if it's written well, then I'm like, what's the issue? And I'm going to get to what I think y'all issue is when I get to the end of it. But I would say, I would counter this to you. Those same people who said that, and this is, so now that we gotten past the what does woke mean, and then what they've tried to redefine it as. Now that we've gotten past that in a couple examples, what I want to get into is the comic book media has always been woke, and beyond comic book, just superhero media. Those same motherfuckers who was calling them woke or saying whatever, because this was mirroring Israel and Palestine. Y'all the same people who love Iron Man, right? You love Iron Man 1, y'all would never say anything bad about that. What happened in that first movie? Did he not get captured by a bunch of Middle Easterns that were supposed to be a terrorist group in 2008, 2009? What were we doing around that time? If I'm not mistaken, unless I'm tripping, is that not around the time it was trying to get Bin Laden and shit? Is this not around that time? Like, what? So, is that not... Fuck parallels, nigga. Is that not literal propaganda? Like, what are we doing here? Is that not literal propaganda, damn near? But you wouldn't dare go back and revisionist history that shit and then say something negative about Iron Man for how that went, right? Now, to backtrack even before that, in Iron Man's original origin story, I believe that's around the time we were in the U.S. I ain't gonna say we. I you know, in the words of Muhammad Ali, no Vietnamese person ever called me that word. This is around the time the United States was in war in Vietnam, correct? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Iron Man was made, he was captured by Vietnamese people, by a Vietnamese army or terrorists or whatever. They intentionally switched that in the movie. It came like 40 years later. Intentionally switched it to fit modern times or whatever. So that's why I was going a little hard with the propaganda thing, but no, it's just to make it work with current times and shit. Cool. But I'm saying I don't have a problem with it. So I'm like, if that's one of the most beloved and high heralded movies, and that's not a problem, when that's quite lit, that right there, that is way more deliberate, my nigga. That's way more deliberate than what just happened to Superman. If that's not an issue and that movie's so revered and held in high regard, then why is it an issue if they do it now? And if it's written like into the story, and it's not even actually Israel and Palestine. It's its own place. Like DC Comics, Detective Comics is not based in our real world. Marvel is, it's different. But yeah, That's the first example I just want to hit y'all with specifically, that where like it applies to all of y'all who probably watch these movies. Now to get into the actual comic book shit, because this is what these movies are drawing from anyway. We can go into from world events. I think 9/11 is a canon event in every universe in Marvel after it happened. Like, I believe that if I'm not mistaken, I might be tripping, but if I'm not mistaken, that's a real thing. Stan Lee making Spider-Man he said specifically he has him have the full mask on his whole face, so any kid of any skin tone, color, or culture can imagine themselves in that mask. From the Hulk touching on subjects of abuse, where I believe his character was expanded on to say the Hulk persona was always in him. Oh my God, Splinter's whooping this nigga ass, bro. I'm sorry, but that persona was always in him from the anger he felt of being abused by his father. And then it came out with the gamma radiation and manifested himself into the Hulk character, the Hulk monster. That's deep, and that's sad as hell. That's sad as hell too. Daredevil's like all of the religious, aspects of his character that are also right in front of your face in the TV show, and none of y'all say nothing about that. Which you shouldn't, because it's still written well. It's good writing. I'm not religious at all. I'm more spiritual, but I still appreciate the aspects in that works for his character. Like, comic book media has always been like that, and it's always been like stories that question morality and ethics, and do the ends justify the means, and what's right or wrong in this situation, when is like what to do when your back's against the wall. So much shit, bro. Even Infinity War, how a lot of y'all love what they did with Thanos, and y'all have Thanos in y'all top villains or whatever, and some of y'all said that nigga was right when he wasn't right, by the way. He could have just doubled the resources, but whatever. And if your counter argument to that is that people didn't deserve that or whatever because they're just going to run through the resources, nigga, if you cut them in half, then they're going to repopulate and then do the same thing. You're going to be in the same predicament later on, no matter what you do, bro. So you might as well just double the fucking resources instead of killing everybody. What did you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's a different rant, bro. I might make that his own video. That I don't. My rage bait some people with the title that I did not like that Thanos. He had the aura. But he was wrong. He was wrong. Anyway, how much y'all love that shit? You realize that you are literally watching like a philosophical discussion of like, it is like, do the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many? Is it worth it to sacrifice 20,000 people to save 2 million people? Because I'll say this, I'm sure no one was on the side of Hydra. No one was on it's crazy. It's crazy how storytelling and how pulling on emotions and the psychology of storytelling works, because none of you, I promise that none of you were on the side of Hydra and Winter Soldier when they were basically saying the same thing that Thanos is saying. Just they don't have the power to get rid of everyone with a snap, so they were just going to control them, but still to try to it's even with the dude who had Nick Fury killed, say, where he's like, I can save 2 billion people by sacrificing 2 million or something like that, or 20,000. I'm sure none of you, not a single soul of you, were on their side, but you're on Thanos' side. He said the same thing. He just said it more eloquently. Like, what are we doing? What you know what I'm saying? So that's comic book media. It's always been woke, and y'all have cheered for it. Y'all have cheered for it a lot of the time. So I don't understand. I just don't understand where's the disconnect. Because I would like to say that the disconnect is bad writing, but it's not, because Superman was written amazingly. Fantastic Four, they worked well with having a woman surfer, and I can't speak on Captain America: Brave New World, but yeah, everything, man. And like, it's important, because if you know what, I'm gonna get to that after. I'm gonna get to that after. So what I also want to get into real quick is I'm gonna get into the X-Men portion of this and how this relates to the X-Men. Are we ready to see a live action version of the X-Men and in the MCU? And this is how it pertains to the whole woke thing, whole woke question. If you don't like these conversations or art imitating life or anything like that, then I don't see why y'all would be excited for the X-Men, because the X-Men are literally the poster group, the poster child for bigotry, for racism, for any classism, all those things. That is what it is. And they were written so well to where almost any form of discrimination can relate to the X-Men. I see the X-Men more so as relating to my people, to melanated people. To be just go quick, not to have a rant too much. But the X-Men's the people humans gripe with the X-Men instead of other heroes is where you have Iron Man who has a suit, the Hulk. Even they hunt the Hulk because he's destructive, but the Hulk is a entity, or is an idea they don't hate because its manufactured power came from an accident. Fantastic Four came from an accident. Captain America came from an experiment, and everyone else is aliens and shit. And they don't really have a problem with. Well, they don't. They're like, okay, aliens are aliens, whatever. Like, they're kind of like, what are we going to do? But it's not like people are just welcoming aliens with open arms. Daredevil, power came from an accident, and all this other shit. So the X-Men are offshoots of humans. I believe their species name officially is Homo superior. They are born from humans. They just have the X gene that triggers under stress, and then they activate their powers, or they're born looking different, like a Nightcrawler or something like that. So humans are scared of the X-Men and hate the X-Men because in X-Men 97 touched on this amazingly. Pause. That sounded crazy. They explained this amazingly. Is their issue with the X-Men is being scared that since they're going to be a superior race of humans with their power, that normal humans are going to go extinct, become obsolete, and be taken over by a superior species, how Homo sapiens, and everything. Neanderthals. Homo sapiens replaced Neanderthals. I'm like, it's 2:30 in the morning, bro. My brain's blanking. I'm sorry, but yeah, that relates to my people. Where without going into rant details and spending 5 minutes on this, Europeans come by, see all like just the wealth, the knowledge, the different type of people, the land we have, and everything, and then just from how our bodies work, our skin works, they get easily burned by the sun. We absorb it more. The tougher hair, everything about us, and they're like, oh shit, okay, no, we take this from them, strip this from them, use it for ourselves, and then keep them down before they can rise back up, because that's their fear of being taken over, and just made obsolete when you could have just stayed over there the whole time. And then fast forward a few hundred years, and now we're in the place we're in now. So quickest way I can do it. But yeah, so I believe it relates to my people the most, especially the way that they do the classism and things like that, and especially since a lot of times they can just look at a mutant and tell, oh no, we don't serve your kind here, type of thing. But but they handle the conversations of it so well to where anybody, from whether it is you've been received prejudice for for sexuality, for religious views, for anything, or political views, whatever, for being a different gender, how women would get put down a lot. Yeah, any type of bigotry can relate to the X-Men, and they did it so well. If you don't if that's not the definition of what y'all are trying to, that's damn near good in the middle of what y'all brand woke as, and what woke really is, like in the middle of being conscious of things. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't like that, then why are y'all so excited for the X-Men? Just because you want to see Hugh Jackman fight Chris Evans, possibly, or something? Like, what are we doing? Because it's going to be more than that if they do this correctly. So I'm like, are y'all really ready for those conversations with, really ready for those conversations with the X-Men? Because they can't half-ass it. They can't half-ass it, especially if y'all people were calling X-Men 97 woke. That show was phenomenal. And it was phenomenal because it covered all of those conversations with the X-Men. And the quotes, oh my gosh. When Magneto got put as leader of Genosha, and they were like, most countries don't allow a terrorist to be their leader. He said, yes, so many allow their leaders to be terrorists. Nigga, what? That's a fucking bar and a half, man. When Xavier said, Magnus, we're not gods, and he said, gods abandon those who believe in them. Mutants do not. I was like, bro, I rewinded that shit like 3 times, bro. gods abandon those who believe in them? Because, you know, most stories with gods is like, you either have to die to go to heaven. They stay up on Mount Olympus. You have to sacrifice this to see them. You have to pray to them this amount of times, or you only hear about them from a prophet or whatever, you know. And then the earth is left in pain and all this other stuff. And you just have to have faith, kind of thing. That was the basis of a great Thor story with Gorr the God Butcher too as well. That's an amazing story. Oh my gosh, man! I might, bro. See, I didn't even get into that the first 3 times I recorded this. I could, man. That's. Should I do a quick rundown of that? Man, okay, all right, quick rundown of that, bro. I think, from what I remember, like Gorr the God Butcher, I think his people were going through a whole bunch of pain and shit like that, death and everything, and he was basically came to the conclusion that gods were selfish, that they only answer prayers on a whim. Because I believe God, I don't think that Thor hears prayers that are sent to him. I don't think many people even want to pray to the thunder god anyway. But yeah, so he went on a quest, gained power, whatever. And he was just going around killing gods because he believed that a world without gods would be better because, oh my God, yeah. Because look, because people would be good people just to be good people. They wouldn't live right because of, like for the end goal of getting to heaven or fear of going to hell. They would be good people just because it's right to be good people. You know what I'm saying? So that was like, damn. That's a hell of a conversation. Like, y'all don't want that? That's too woke for y'all? That is fire. That is an amazing story and like train of thought to go with. That's crazy, bro. But anyway, yeah, with the X-Men, bro, you can't half-ass that, bro. And the Fox movies kind of got away with it. And yeah, I'm gonna get into that right here. So there's 3 terrible roads that Marvel can go in. So this is the part where I ask, is Marvel and Disney ready to make a series X-Men? Because there's 3 terrible roads they can go down with this. Road number 1 is if they do go, which y'all's definition of woke is doing too much. They can get too inclusive, trying too hard to be inclusive. And what I mean by that is I saw multiple different posts of like Denzel Washington wanted to play Magneto and Lawrence Fishburne wanted to play Professor X. Nigga, why? Now you would think someone like me, you know, who has, if you watch my top 10 movies video, they cloned Tyrone in my top 5 movies. I was on here with my Malcolm X chain. I be on my pro-black shit and, you know, so-called black people shit, but, and all the other stuff. So you would think I'd be the first one to say, yeah, give us more black superheroes, more rappers. No, nigga, no. Either make movies with established black characters already, or make more black superheroes. Shout out to my dude on Impound Comics. I gotta get my bread back up, and I'm gonna order some of your comics, bro. That what's the dude's name? Is it Tracy something? I think his Instagram like Tracy the Goat or something. Shout out to you, bro. You doing great work. But yeah, you would think I'd be the first person to say, yeah, I would love to have a black Magneto, a black Professor X, or whatever. No. Why would I want that? Because that's like, some of y'all, this is a whole different, this is a podcast conversation, but some of you niggas want to be included so bad. Like, some of you niggas want to blame the white man for everything, but you want to be included so bad just because. No, we're not doing unnecessary shit like that. Magneto is a Holocaust survivor, a Jewish man who was a Holocaust survivor who saw his parents die in concentration camps. Why would we cast a black man for that? For what? Professor X, Professor X inherited a large amount of wealth from his family and still wants to integrate with humanity and sees the good in them and everything. I don't think too many niggas who had families, so they were both alive during the Holocaust, so they were probably like children in like the 40s or whatever. So I don't know when Professor X's parents died, but anyway, which means their parents were probably in their prime of their lives in like 20s and 30s. I don't think too many niggas was inheriting a large amount of wealth from families in that time, but that's just me though. That's just me though. So no, we don't need that. If you want it, Denzel, if you want a voice act for Magneto in something, go ahead, bro. But there's no reason for that. Now, I would say this. Lawrence Fishburne could probably play a good Professor X, and the only reason why I can kind of see that is because of what he did as Morpheus in The Matrix. And I can see them having a similar demeanor. Professor X is a little bit less off-putting and like, I don't want to say mystical, but like, you know how like how slow Morpheus talked and like you only have half the story type of thing, you know, and all the other shit. But yeah, I can see Lawrence Fishburne being able to pull it off, but no. And I can see a lot of you niggas. I can already hear it. I'm a rebuttal this before anyone even says it. Oh, but they're based off Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. No, they are not. They mirror them, but they are not. They were not created that way. When Magneto was created in the golden age of superheroes, or Marvel specifically, when he still talked all Shakespearean, the X-Men, you shall not thwart me, your biggest foe, Magneto, and shit like that, you know, like when he talked like that, he was doing some heinous shit. He was doing some heinous shit. Once you get a little bit later down the line and you expand on characters and shit, then you get to the point where it's getting harder to disagree with them. And then they were like, okay, we can kind of make this mirror these two, where Professor X is more like Martin, where he was non-violent and had the dream of everybody living in a coexistence and happily ever after together. Where Magneto is like, I'm tired of begging for your tolerance. If you want to help me, then go ahead. But I'm not going to beg for your tolerance, and I don't even want to integrate into your society. I'd rather us and my people make our own one. Leave us alone, and if you approach us, you will get fucked up. You will get fucked up without a second thought. And that's how Malcolm was. And Malcolm was also like, yo, we are, you know, he was also on his we are the original people shit and everything like that. Where Magneto's the same thing, where it's like, we're more powerful than y'all. Let's not act like we're not, you know? And that's not a bad thing. That's just factual. It's just factual. It's not a bad thing. So yes, no, they grew to mirror them. And Stanley has admitted that, like, yes, no, we started to run with that. But when he created those first two characters, you know, wrote down on the blank piece of paper, I don't think on that chalkboard was Malcolm X here and Martin here. No, that's not, no. No, they grew to be that way. So that in either way, they're not those two, so that's not reason enough to cast a black man for them. No, so they can run that route of being too inclusive. If you want to get super inclusive with the X-Men, then I would say if you want to have the first openly gay character on movie and superhero movies, then you can do that with Iceman, because he was the first openly gay superhero. Do I personally want to see that? No, I do not. But I wouldn't be too mad about it, because that's a part of his character. So what am I going to say? But yeah, that's the first road. And then the second terrible road is they can tiptoe with this shit too much and not go into the racist, I wouldn't even say undertone of X-Men, overtone of what the X-Men is and how dark that shit really is and how dark it gets, like with shit like Stryker and stuff like that. Now, this is what I'm getting back to what I was going to say before, is how the Fox movies were able to get away with not going too hard on the racism aspect of it, because they didn't have to go in on the fact that, like, humans being scared that mutants were going to replace them, because that was an isolated universe. There's no Avengers, there's no Doctor Strange, there's no Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just the X-Men in that world for the Fox universe, right? In their movies. So you can kind of get away with just saying that, oh, humans are freaked out by the X-Men because they have superpowers, because there's no one else here with superpowers. You can get away with that. In the MCU, where they've had damn near 20 years of seeing Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Ultron, Scarlet Witch, a talking tree and raccoon, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucking aliens in Times Square, Doctor Strange doing wizardry, seeing a Red Skull, seeing, you know, all these different things. I doubt Nightcrawler is the weirdest thing that Earth has seen. You get what I'm saying? I doubt that seeing Beast would give someone a heart attack. I doubt that. I really doubt that Wolverine's claws would have someone, you know, scared for their, you know, existence as a species. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have, just from existing. So you're going to have to go into, no, this is blatant racism is what humanity's problem with them is. You can't just have them be hated for no reason, because then people who aren't that familiar with X-Men are going to ask why. It can't just be they hate them because they're the X-Men. No, you have to go into it. You can't tiptoe around that shit. You can't do that, bro, because then you're not doing those characters justice at all. You can't just bring them in here just to have some good fight scenes or whatever. Which brings me to the third terrible role they can do. Do not use these niggas as plot devices or just something cool for like a cheap pop. It's like for any of my wrestling fans, you know, in the Royal Rumble where like a legend will come back, and you know, in all likelihood, they're not winning the Rumble, but it's cool to see them. Remember that 40-man Royal Rumble when Kevin Nash came back to WWE and shit? Or that one like 2 years ago where Booker T came back off the commentary table and shit? You know, and it's cool, you know, like a cool moment, a cool pop. Don't do that. Don't put them in game just to have, hey, here's the old cast, you know, for fun. Oh my God, I got the hiccups like shit. I'm sorry. For fun memories or whatever. Deadpool and Wolverine got away with that. Because one, we didn't expect that at all. But two, because that's what it's going to be. We knew it was going to be a cameo fest. You know, and that's supposed to be just a fun movie. And I love that movie, by the way. I watched that shit on my birthday. Yeah, I watched the show on my birthday. My 19th birthday. Yeah, my 19th birthday. Yeah, that shit was great. So yeah, don't do that neither. So yeah, don't get too inclusive. Don't be race swapping characters and shit and doing just a whole bunch of extra shit. Don't do that. Don't tiptoe around it. You need to get into the nitty gritty of what they are, and then don't use them just as a cameo or as a plot device. Don't do that. So to wrap this back around, bro, is what is the problem with comic book media or entertainment or whatever like that being woke? What is the actual issue? Is it bad writing? Or, this is my other theory, and I've heard some people say this, is people go to movies, shows, and entertainment to get away from the bullshit of the real world. So they don't want to be reminded of that in something they're watching, like a superhero movie. And I can understand that sentiment, but my counter argument to you would be, go watch a comedy, my nigga. If that's how you feel, go watch a rom-com. Go watch SpongeBob. I can't even say go watch a Disney movie, because even then, you're going to get those same conversations and lessons, and those are actually meant for kids. So it's going to be even more spoon-fed to you. When you have those Israel and Palestine comparisons with Superman, with the John Pearl and Bravia thing, they're not going, hey guys, bombing people's bad. You shouldn't do that. They're not doing all that. It's not spoon-fed to you. It's just there. It's just there to tell the story. So, I you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that would be my counter argument, is that if you're just watching this entertainment as escapism, then I would say go watch a rom-com, bro. Go watch a rom-com. Go watch SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron, Blue's Clues or something. Or, you know, or football or basketball or something. Go watch sports or something. Don't bring that over here, because you got to realize the power of your words, not just spiritually in the fact that if you keep on saying woke in a negative light, then people are just going to want to be asleep, just want to be dumb. So if you keep on saying it in a negative light, that's the first thing. But also, if you're using it in this context, and we have social media and stuff like that, where these companies are looking at what's doing good and bad at the box office, what's getting what reviews and shit like that, to where, you know, people's opinions can get out so much quicker to companies and shit like that. If all they're seeing in negativity is woke, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, well, fuck it, we're not going to put no messages in here. We're not going to put no substance in here. And you're putting a ceiling, you're putting a limit on what people can create. And that you don't want that, bro. Because then a lot of the shit that y'all love, you wouldn't have got. You wouldn't have got that with Iron Man. You wouldn't have got that any like the morality talk with Captain America. You wouldn't have got this Thanos that y'all love so much. You wouldn't have, bro. You wouldn't have got any of these things that y'all have come to know and love. Even with Star Wars, do you know how groundbreaking it had to be for Princess Leia to be how she was? She was never a damsel in distress in those movies. Even in the first movie where she got captured, she was shit-talking Vader. She held it down for the rebellion. She saw her planet get blown up. She ain't shed not a name crocodile tear, my nigga. When Luke Skywalker came to rescue her, she was like, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? They went and got her. Man, she took the gun from Han Solo and started blasting at niggas, talking about someone has to save us. She was shit talking them niggas. She was a straight up war hero, a war general, and everything. She was in the field with niggas. And at no point in that movie where they're like, hey, should a girl be doing this or whatever, you know? At no point in that movie, the only time they were really concerned about her is because she's a princess and she was worth a lot of money. But they didn't treat her like she was a fragile piece of glass, you know? The only time I will say this, y'all, is the way they try to redefine this. My fault, my phone battery was low. Only time I can kind of see it when y'all talking about this woke thing, in modern media is how they write women superheroes, and that's a whole different conversation. But like, y'all seen that clip circulating? I don't remember which X-Men movie it's from, but when the lady was like, by the way, the women are always saving the men around here, you should probably change your name to X-Woman. Ew. Who the fuck wrote that? Who wrote that? Who greenlit that? Why did she even think that was okay to recite? She should have improv to this. That better not be. If that was improv, don't let her do any more movies. But yeah, bro. Yeah. Who on the editing team left that in? Like, nah. Y'all would have been better off going to a black screen for 10 seconds and then picking the movie back up or something, bro. No, that's fucking terrible, bro. I haven't seen the Wonder Woman movies, so I don't know if this happens or not. But like, just to throw an example out there, they put too much emphasis on, oh, it's a woman doing these heroic acts. Like, especially like if you have a character like Wonder Woman or something, why would it why would she ever feel the need to over emphasize that she's a woman saving people? This motherfucker, she comes from a planet of all female warriors where men are not allowed to step foot on the planet, the premises. All she knows is strong women. Why would she ever feel the need to prove herself? In a way, she knows she's already a warrior. She's that motherfucker. So I don't understand why you would even write it in a way where that's needed. Like if you had like a Elektra or something like that. Yeah, her title is the best female assassin, but I don't think she should be overly conscious of that or whatever. She's just a dope assassin. Like in timepieces, like with Agent Carter and Captain America, that didn't bother us at all. Because one, it wasn't overly exaggerated, and two, it makes sense for that time. We're in World War II, and she's a British woman that's like at the top rank. Yeah, I can understand her, that being an integral part of her character because she's a trailblazer. She will be a trailblazer at that point. But yeah, I can kind of see that. Like, and with certain things, like in She-Hulk, I haven't watched the show, but I saw the clip of her like twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. I understand what they were trying to do, but y'all did it in a bad way. They tried too hard to appeal to social media by kind of jumping on that. I'm fine with some hypersexuality when it comes to She-Hulk because that's a part of her character. Is the parallel between her and Hulk is the Hulk, it feels like he's trapped when he's the Hulk. She can control herself better, but also I believe she's more of like a timid and shy woman when she's just Jennifer Walters. But when she becomes She-Hulk with the new body and everything like that, she becomes way more confident in herself, not only with strength but sexually because she feels more attractive and everything. So that's a part of her character. That's fine, but like, come on, bro. Like, I think at that time WAP just came out or something, and y'all doing too much. Y'all doing just a pinch too much. Like, y'all had it, bro. Y'all had it, and y'all did too much. So I can see it with how they handle women characters, but as far as the parallels in Superman, a black man being Captain America, which once again, it's not a black Steve Rogers. It made sense, and it was a comic thing, and the Silver Surfer. And y'all calling someone X-Men 97 woke because of the conversations, which is integral to their story. None of those fall in the woke bucket of what y'all are trying to say is them changing too much or trying to be too inclusive. I think is what y'all are trying to say. I have to make sense of it because y'all just saying the word woke out here. You're not even complaining right, because there should never be a negative light of that. And also, art always imitates life. That's just how art is. That's just how art is, bro. So I believe y'all's middle ground is either A, you just want to be entertained, or B, and my counterpoint to that would be go watch something that's just for entertainment. These have always been deep stories. That's what comic books have always been. Always been conversations, always mirrored real life. Adam Warlock is literally a Jesus Christ figure. Like, come on now. Like, cut this shit out. Oh, and then the other one is bad writing. Which I see that in context of how they handle women characters now. So I would just, I just want to circle back to the question. Why is it a bad thing to y'all, or it's said negatively for comic book media to be woke? I want to know a reason. And then, if you still feel that way, then are you actually ready to see the X-Men in the MCU? The real X-Men. Not just these characters you played video games with, and you get to see them use their powers live action. No. The actual X-Men. and what they actually represent and what they actually are to tell the stories properly. And is Disney and Marvel ready to make that and handle whatever backlash or whatever comes with it? And by the way, I'm 40 minutes in. The last video I made was 33 minutes, so you can tell I'm talking a lot more. I feel better about this one for sure. I think I hit every note. I'm talking to casual fans, really. I don't think anyone who's ever picked up a comic book or is a comic book enthusiast or anything, I don't think any of y'all even have this issue that I'm speaking on at all. This is for, I'm gonna make another video, by the way, of what killed the MCU. And one of the things that killed the MCU is them going for a general public audience of moviegoers and people who want to be entertained, aside from their core audience, which their core audience was comic book fans and superhero video game fans and shit who understood the characters, cartoon fans who understood the characters. None of us have this complaint. I don't think any of us have this complaint. Our complaint has only ever been bad writing. That's all we've ever had an issue with. This is for the casual people. I hate to say it that way, but that's really what it is, man. So yeah, man, I'm just trying to think, bro, so I don't have to redo this again. I don't think I'm forgetting anything, bro. I think I really did hit every note that I wanted to. Only other thing that might come to me later is just more examples of this, wokeness or just art imitating life when it comes to comic book characters. I could probably think of a few more specifics, but like, is there anything they're gonna come to my mind right now? I don't know, like even Thor being like a coming of age story. Oh, Captain America, that's one I forgot. That's literal war propaganda, my nigga. That's literally war propaganda. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? That was quite. They literally have edits of him being on the Uncle Sam poster or whatever. Oh, we want you. That was literal war propaganda, dog. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about? This is what it's always been. It's always been this. It's always been this, bro. Like, Iron Man, war propaganda. Captain America, war propaganda. X-Men, bigotry, racism. What was the other ones I said? Yeah, Daredevil with the different like religious aspects, man. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it right here. I'm just gonna get to repeating myself, bro. But yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this. And yeah, let me know in the comments, I guess, if I have a misunderstanding of what they mean with this woke thing. If you have any other examples of it that I may have missed, that I may agree with or disagree with. And yeah, and for the X-Men portion, yo, let me know who's your favorite X-Men. Maybe who you want to see play certain characters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, yeah. I'm gonna get up out of here. I might be in the zone. I might record some more videos. I don't know. If I do, then y'all know. Y'all will know because you'll see me in the same fit. I ain't gonna fake shit. I ain't gonna change outfits or nothing, nigga. Y'all gonna see me how I really am. But yeah, man, hope y'all appreciate this joint. Peace, bro. Alright, y'all. So just quick little addition here of some things that I missed that I did want to speak on. That it wasn't worth re-recording the whole video for this. I just wanted to add on to something. I do understand this sentiment real quick, that it is true that just because something started out one way doesn't mean that it can't or shouldn't evolve into something else. So meaning, like, just because comic book media and stuff like that started off with these different lessons imitating life, propaganda, whatever, then that's not a reason for it to not be able to evolve into something else, especially since it's a movie. So movies don't need to be exactly like the comics. I agree with that and I understand that. My counterpoint would be this. I think the evolution needs to come from how the stories are told, not really what they're telling. They should always have, I think, substance and lessons and things like that in it, but it should evolve as to how it's told. So with Captain America, how I said he is quite literally was war propaganda, he evolved into not just being the ultimate soldier and a tool of the government. He actually goes against the government a good amount of times. He represents the American dream, or the ideal patriot on paper, of just being good morally, making the right choices, good decisions and everything like that, and being, good to people. That's what he represents. And he even goes against the government to uphold the idea a good amount of times, as you see in the Civil War comic, you see it in the Civil War movie, you see it in the situation with the incursions, all those things. That's where the evolution comes in, where you evolve how you tell those stories. Once you get to past war times and shit, and it's a different age, where, you know, people don't want to see the, you know, it's almost like Hulk Hogan, where it's like the eat your vitamins thing like that, you know? No, you got to evolve how you get to tell people to be a good person, things like that, and not make it stale or corny or too formulaic. And then I just want to highlight again how goofy it would be to race swap a character like Magneto. So Magneto is I'm gonna say it one more time. He is a Holocaust survivor, a white Jewish man who he lost his faith in humanity by seeing concentration camps. His family died from the Holocaust, and then when he was discovered to be a mutant, the same people he was oppressed with then hunted him too. Imagine if Magneto, right, an alternate universe, whatever, where Magneto's origin story, he's a black man, but he's a slave, and he loses his faith in humanity by going through slavery. He escapes the plantation, and then they find out he's a mutant, and then he's hunted and hated on by other slaves, right? Imagine that's what he was. And then they decided to make a movie about him, and they cast a white Jewish man for that. Is that not goofy? Like, just think about how goofy that sounds. And that's for all. I'm mainly saying this for all the black people who want to be so badly included and think, yes, a black man should play that character. No, because think about how you would feel if it was on the other shoe, bro. I'm not about that. I'm not going to play that game, bro. Make movies about the established black characters or make our own characters. Once again, shout out to my boy at Impound Comics, man. But yeah, that was about it, man. That was about it for the extra shit. It wasn't worth re-recording the whole video for, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it.